Tonight you're talking about the state of the nation, occurrences that have taken center stage. Let's just say in the first batch of March. We are in the 14th day of March, and tonight I am joined by Kaizer Obed, who is a political scientist, but I hope I'm not butchering that. Kaizer, you will tell us more about that, about who you are. You will tell us that for yourself. Karibu sana to studio. Glad to have you here tonight.
Thank you, Anne. I'm Kaizer. As you have said, I'm a political scientist.
Yeah.
I graduated from University of Nairobi. Yeah, so I understand what has to do with politics and governance.
All right.
Yeah.
I was being directed earlier on to refer to you as a budding political theorist.
Yeah, sure.
What about that, Kaizer?
When you study political science, we have different disciplines inside political science. We have political theory, we have public administration, we have the political science, international relations.
Yeah.
So of all those fields, as Kaizer, I think I was more interested of the political theory side. Now that I've not done my PhD and master's, so I'm a budding. Budding means that you are coming up. So that's why I found myself as a budding political theorist. Yeah.
All right. Now, Kaizer, I would really want us to just start this off with a matter that has been hitting the headlines. I think MATIANG'I's issue is still taking center stage.
Sure.
Now, there were a series of meetings that were held to manage the goosey politics. We saw a meeting between Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu days before MATIANG'I's greeting by the DCI, right?
Yes.
We also witnessed protest in Kisii regarding the same. So does the goosey politics have anything to do with MATIANG'I's freedom that was accorded to him yesterday by the DPP?
I think I should let you know that I come from the area. so I, you know, as a political scientist, you have to look at issues without emotions first of all, because I since the day MATIANG'I, we can quote unquote say who started. I have seen people say, oh, it is a revenge, it is this and that, but to me I can say it is all about politics, because the first time we had MATIANG'I home was attacked, then the government came out and said, oh, it is a lie, it was not attacked, because we never saw even the pics.
Yeah. They
just said that the home was attacked. Then after some time, MATIANG'I had sneaked out of the country, or is somewhere, he's hiding, but he came back, and when he came back, he was somewhere at the DCI, and at the DCI you saw, I think I saw a number of politicians from Kisii, the senators, MPs, and it was informing you, quote unquote, this is all about the community, and I think they came out, you know, he's our son, so we have to go and protect him. Then that day, I think the AZIMIO party leader, Honorable Raila Odida was equally there. He went to say, now he was telling, I think he told of the government that you people stop persecuting MATIANG'I. And after one day, there were news in the media that there are some 3 MPs, actually the MP for Burabu, Nyaribari Masaba, Manduku, the Burabu is Osero, who is MATIANG'I's MP, and Kibagendi of Kitutu Church South. I read in the news that one of the media also reported that these 3 MPs had gone to State House and to seek a truce between the president and MATIANG'I. And I think after 2 days, on Sunday evening, we saw the pictures of the former interior CS with the current CS of education, and they happen to come from the same place. And in that pic, if you were keen, you could have seen one of the most people who are respected in our community, the elders and everything. And one thing many people maybe never realized, there was an MP from Kisii, actually from Nyamira. He goes by the name Nyamoko. He's the MP of North Mugirango. So then it tells you one thing: this MP was elected on UDA, and the CS is an employee of the government, an employee of and who heads the government? The president. So a CS is an employee of the president. Then it means one thing. It means that the CS could not be there if he could have not communicated with the president. Then it means the in quote unquote the president was aware of the meeting. The following day we saw the DCI withdrawing the whatever the charges of I think yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Yeah, we saw the DCI issuing a statement that we have closed the case for Matiang'i.
Yeah.
Then it tells you one thing. You know, the president is going to Kisii, I think, the next 1 week, the homecoming of the CS education. Then he had to contain the politics, and that's how politics go.
Yeah.
I've seen people say that it was because the president is going to Kisii, that's why he called Matiang'i to have him in his trip. But I think this is all about politics, because who was Matiang'i in the previous government? It was some of the people who were very close to power. The CS of Interior is in the order of power, if you count, is almost number 6, even after, I think after the president, the deputy president, we go to the head of judiciary, the head of executive, who happens to be the president, then we go to the parliament speakers, then we have the CS Interior, because the CS Interior is one of the critical positions in government. So I think the president had to reach out to the former CS, quote unquote, to have him on board. And you see, before the president reached out, Matiang'i was, quote unquote, they were saying that he was going to be the chair of AZIMIO because the former president was going to resign. So I think that's the reason. It is all about politics.
All right, now Kaizer, with all the drama and series of events that occurred from the time the alleged police raid at Matiang'i's home was reported, that was around the 15th of last month, including him not turning up at the DCIs, to him flying out of the country, as you have mentioned that. Now, the DP says the evidence leveled against Matiang'i are insufficient. The charges are dropped. Now, where then is the room to know what really happened on the night of February the 15th?
One thing you have, and you have to be aware of is Kenya is a third world country. And what does it mean, Kenya is a third world countries? In developed democracies like in Europe, in America, we have institutions, and these institutions are effective. They work. They don't work under the whims of so and so, those people are in power. These institutions are a success. They represent what the people like. Now, if Kenyans, if we people, we could have the effective institution like the DCI. Let us say, let us use the DCI for example. The other day, the DCI was on the neck of the people who are in power today. And when these people came into power, what did they do? The people who are heading the DCI and everything, they were removed out. They came in, the new people. So then it means one thing. It depends who is up there, because I heard today, was it today, yesterday, that the security at the DCI told Mheshimiwa Raila that you know, we are not going to open the gate because we are waiting for orders from above.
Really?
Why should the officers working with the DCI, which is an institution of government, tell you that we are waiting for orders? And that's why I think in our countries, like I've said, in developing democracies, which we call third world countries, institutions are working under the few elites who are in power. Because let me tell you, today, if we say the president after his 10 years tenure, someone comes in who was against maybe the current president, the person who comes in is going to change, is going to make changes at the security docket. And you have seen, like, it is not the first time, not the second time. It is always something that is happening. So I think in our country, I can say the institution are working at the mercy of the few elite.
In Swahili they say ni kujuana. Is that what you mean?
Of course. They always say that, are you, there is always a question that they always ask, that are you a visitor in Jerusalem? Like, are you new? Are you new? You know, like, are you I always see people say, oh, we are independent. You will never be independent when our institutions are like, the people even who are the heads of these institutions are maybe friends cousins, relatives to the people who are in State House. So we'll never have this institution being independent, quote unquote. They always say independent, but they are always independent on paper, maybe on TV and on paper. But in the real sense, if you go there, they will just have to consult somewhere for them to act.
Now let's keep it here, still on matters of the DPP. Now let's talk about the ARROR and KIMWARER Dam. The president has announced its reconstruction today, and that is to take place in a few months. Now the Directorate of Public Prosecution had initially charged 24 individuals in relation to a scandal in the ARROR and KIMWARER Dam, but has now terminated charges against 15. My concern is with the dropping of these charges. Not one, not two, not three, but what is really happening? What do you take of these, how DPP is handling such cases?
You know, I really wish our institutions were independent from the word go, as we always wish they be. Because now a case like that of dams, I actually watched today that I think the president of Italy is around.
Yeah.
So the president announced that they are even going to remove the cases from the courts, and they are going to have back the reconstruction of the 3 dams, ARROR, ITARE, and KIMWARER.
Yeah.
So, as a Kenyan, I think when we had this issue of ARROR and KIMWARER, it was in a political season. So, we are not sure that if it was true that money was stolen or not, because when we had this issue of ARROR and KIMWARER, quote unquote, the guy who was at the Ministry of Treasury was Henry Rotich, and they always say that Henry Rotich was a close buddy the president. By then he was a deputy president. So does it mean that the ARROR and KIMWARER happened because of politics, or it was genuine that money was stolen? Now you see, we will not know such things because
cases are being dropped.
If now let me give you the example. Now just imagine if AZIMIO had taken power. You see, such cases they could maybe now, because now they have won, they could now want to use such cases maybe to pin down the current president if he could have not won. But now he has won. Maybe to some extent, I feel it was because of politics, and that's why we had the ARROR, KIMWARER. Because if I don't think 7 billion is a small money.
That's a lot.
That's if someone told me if 1 billion is 1 billion alone, if you have 1 billion, you can if you arrange it on the road, you can arrange it from, I don't know, from Tanzania to Kenya all the way to Ethiopia. Now just imagine 7 billion. That's a lot of money. And if it was true that it was stolen, and now that we have institutions that were put in place to do investigation and everything, I think it could be fair that they come out and tell us, was it true or not? But if it was not true, then I think the president is doing the right thing. Let him go ahead. You see, right now we are facing a drought. I think the worst since I think they say that this is the worst since independence. I don't know if before we had one, but they say it is the worst. So if we had such dams, I think they could have held like the one in ARROR. You see that area, first of all, it is a area where bandits are terrorizing people. The people are suffering. Now imagine if those people had a dam, their kettles could get water, even they could do farming and everything. Yeah.
Now let's talk about AZIMIO, the AZIMIO mandamanas now. These mandamanas rather are held to hold the government into account, and they go as far as terming the government as illegitimate. Today they have said that the government is abusive, and they still maintain their stand that they do not recognize this government. But the government and the opposition are on record saying that they do not want handshake, both the opposition and the government. What then will be done to bring harmony in the country between these parties, the government and the opposition, to avert further mandamanas?
You know, this time I think I will differ with the way these people from AZIMIO are planning to do the mandamanos, because it doesn't make any sense. You see, how many times have we had these mandamanos? since 2013, when the IBC was in place of Ahmed Isaac Hassan. By then we had COD. COD came out and said that this IBC is not okay and everything. It was removed. Now, then Raila told us that now I believe in the IBC that has been set in place. Same thing, 2017, same thing. Like they always say, you can't be doing the same thing the same way and expect different result. Like, why don't you try other means? You know, the funny part about Azimio saying that they don't recognize the government. You know, one of the clearest indicators, as one of the theorists, a British theorist in Wealth of Nations, said that if you are the clearest indicator of a regime, if you want to know a regime is legitimate, if the citizens accept to pay tax. Even in the Bible, it's, I think the Bible says that give Caesar what belongs
to Caesar.
Yeah, so so long as these guys accepted to pay tax, then it means we have a legitimate government. Because minus paying tax, then it means the government is not going to operate. Now, you want to tell me that the government is illegitimate, whereas the governors that who are pro-Azimio are calling out the government to give them money to run their counties. That, what type of hypocrisy is that? So there is no day that in the morning, on the lower side, the government is legitimate, but on the upper side, the government is illegitimate. You see, I think if the former prime minister has an issue with the government, the best thing he could do, you know, these people are friends. Ruto was in ODM. The current president was in ODM. Raila was his party leader. So these people are buddies and everything. If I was Raila today, of course, if Raila calls the president, he will just pick. I'll just call him and tell him, these are the things I have with you. This is why I feel that your government is illegitimate. Like, you say some things make sense, like the cost of living, such things, but which I also think that it is not the fault of the government. It is maybe some determinants in the market and everything. So I could urge the former premier to just have a talk with this president, to talk with the president, because let me tell you, if we are going to have a mandamanos on Monday, by that Monday in the evening, the Kenyan shilling at the stock exchange market will fall like now the dollar is selling, the Kenyan shilling to the dollar is selling at 141. Never has the dollar gone up that way in history. It means that if you have like, that's approximately 150. 150 is equivalent to 1 shilling of US. You know that what that means? That camera, that thing you always buy and you are told it is from the it is not manufactured locally, it is bought from abroad. It is going to go up because you go to the market, the dollar keeps on going up, and while our shilling is depreciating. So I think it will affect our economy. Yes, even if you see it from a layman's view, mandamanos are going to affect, because if we have any day, there is no day mandamanos will be peaceful. In as much as they say they are peaceful, there is police will come with force, supporters will come with force. At the end of the day, you will hear cases like, oh, the shops were vandalized.
Right, but Kaizer, you have mentioned something about the opposition leader, that is Honorable Raila Odinga, making a call to the president for a talk. Well, I understand that they're friends, like you have mentioned, I'm using your words, quote unquote. But is it really the opposition leader to make to blink fast? Or what's your take on that? You've said that the opposition leader should make the first call. Is that really the way to go?
You know, there is something we call corporate ego. Corporate ego is when that, you know, I'm the boss. So if I'm the boss, you see, if I'm the boss, I'm like, why should I go? You see, the way you go to, they always say that, I always see this say that we are the price. You know that it works that way even in leadership. So if you have corporate ego, something like ego, you know, at one point, Raila sits down and says, you know, at one point Ruto was my junior. You see, maybe I cannot call him. And Ruto at the other end sees, you know, now I'm the boss, I'm the commander-in-chief, like I control everything. Whether I will not call someone to have a talk with him. So I think it is high time the president lowers down, and the opposition leader lowers down. I'm not in for the handshake, but I'm in for the talks. You see, if these people talk and come out and say, I think I've spoken with the president. And this is the way we have decided. We are going to do this way and all that way, like the way the US Americans do. You see, if you watch the US election, in as much as Trump was angry when Biden defeated him, at the end of the day he called him, and in as much as they say that he never congratulated, but he called him and told him, now you are the president, so I have to respect you and everything. Maybe we'll have politics some other time, because I've never understood what is wrong with our country. You see, Nigeria had election the other week. Right now, if you go to Nigeria, those people are not even interested in politics anymore. Like, after elections, everyone goes back to whatever he was doing. But in our country, if someone comes to Kenya today, you might think we are having election next week, because I saw today AZIMIO were meeting in Sia. You might think the kind of tone they were using, you might think we are having general elections next week.
All right, Kaizer, you're also on record right here. You say that there's not so much difference with the events that are taking place right now. The Maandamano, you've said they took place in 2013, in 2017, which you're very much correct. But if those events, especially the one in 2017, constituted the handshake, why then do you think in 2022? What then do you think of 2023? Is there going to be a handshake really?
Okay, one thing you also have to recognize, when you go to class, you will study about personalities of different leaders. We have what we call idiosyncratic variables of different people. We have age, education, the childhood experience, and everything. So these things are different. You see the personality of the former President Uhuru Kenyatta, maybe was remorseful, was someone who is humble, unlike maybe the current president, because these people are not the same. You see, if it was him maybe who is in power today, maybe we could not have a mandamanos, because maybe he could say, no need of having mandamanos, just let us come and talk. But you see, the current president, maybe he believes in his way. And you see, you cannot judge these leaders, because there's different people, different personalities. They believe in different ideologies. And I think to some extent, the way I look at our president right now is a Machiavellian. A Machiavellian is a person who believes that I'm right, the way I'm doing things. And, Machiavelli advised the prince that you should not give time to your enemy, like you should not entertain him. So
really?
Yeah, sure. You can read the Prince. There's a
no about the president. I would really love. Let's just leave it at that at the moment, right?
Okay.
So I came across this question as one of somebody was asking, what is the goal for Maandamano? Is the goal for Raila to be accommodated in the government? And if yes, if he is accommodated, is the problem for is the Mwananchi's problems solved, or Baba just get accommodated by himself, for himself?
I think some of the claims that the former premier is raising are very genuine. Like I've said before, the cost of living, such things, are genuine. They are really affecting. Nowadays, people hardly take 3 meals a day. They just take one, because the cost of everything has gone up. Like the other day I was in a supermarket, and I think you just look at the prices of things, and this week, you go next week, they have changed. So I think some claims are genuine, but on accommodation, I'll not say that really wants to be accommodated, because you never know. The way you see, if you look at the current government, the way the way it is constituted. There are some people who support the government and they have not even been rewarded, maybe quote unquote. They are outside in the cold. So I'm just imagining now, if the president decides to accommodate the former premier into his government, like, do you think these people in a country like ours, do you think these people are going to cool down? No, they are just going to be on the neck of the president. Oh, while you accommodate, because what did we see in the handshake? Because for one to accommodate someone like the former premier into government, then it means he's going, you have to sit down and talk. Because you are not going to call him and tell him, I've incorporated in my government. You are going to talk. Then it means, if you are going to talk, I'm going to have my demands, he's going to have his demands. What if among his demands is put my people in government, this and that, like we saw in the previous handshake and everything. So I don't think the president will into the call to maybe to accommodate him in government, because personally, from the experience of the previous handshake, okay, it was well for our country, economic wise, and everything was going on well, but also we have to look on the negative side. It was during the handshake that we had the COVID billionaires and everything. And the reason maybe I may disagree with the former premier, there are some things that he's championing right now. But when he was in the former government as under quote unquote handshake brothers, you never had him. Why? Because these people are the same. They just eat. When they come together, they now just forget the common knowledge.
My director is telling me about time, but I would just request for a little extra time, kindly, director. Now let's talk about the AZIMIO allied leaders' visit to State House. We see former Kisumu Governor Jack Ranguma. We have former Nairobi Governor Evans Kidero. We also have Obado right there. Raila Odinga has condemned and called them out today in his rally while at Siaya in Nyanza. Now, we are seeing this in 2023, this government. Is it that Odinga's domination, or rather influence, is in his own package is dwindling?
Maybe I ask you a question, a simple question. At your home now, let us say you have 5 sisters. Okay, 4. 4 is a good number. Because
well, you're right, I do have 4 sisters, but okay.
So, one day maybe your mom comes, she has bought maybe the 2 of you dresses, nice ones, and the other 2 are like she comes and tells them, I never had enough money, but I bought for the 2. What do you think will happen with the 2 sisters? They are just going to say, no, mom hates us and everything. So these people have gone to State House today. Today I think I saw them today. And these people, some of them were vying. Some of them were denied tickets, maybe, and the other people were given and they won. So there's one thing a politician hates. Anyone who is a politician, being in the cold. So these people are not going to survive in the cold for 5 years. What do? They are going to go to join the government of the day, because either way they are never wanted in their home, because they quote unquote they were denied tickets. So they have to collaborate, and the government wants to look that it accommodates everyone, and quote unquote, because the government wants to be seen as inclusive, to reach out to all Kenyans, such that when the president goes to an area, is not castigated that your government is quote unquote only for these tribes. Yeah.
All right, now, Kaizer, as we wind up, we're now winding up with our discussion. This is the first half of the government's term. It is exactly 6 months since they took power. Now, how would you rate the delivery process in terms of the basic commodities, unga, cost of fuel, and so on?
I think I could, in a scale of 10, where 10 is the highest and 1 is the lowest, could give them 4, 5, half. Because the reason why I'm giving them 4, 5, these people came into power. Let me tell you.
That is 4, 5 over what?
Over 10.
Oh, okay.
You see, these people came into power when, let us not lie to one another. These things like the Ukraine war, the COVID, those things really destabilize the world, even the production of foods and everything. So these people came into power when the country was doing badly economic-wise, because when they came into power, let us say the cost of things like sugar, unga, and everything, they were up. But in as much as they have not gone down such, but they have gone in a small, like, if unga was costing at around 230, right now it is costing around 200, 190.
It has dropped by 40 shillings.
Yeah, so you see it is not doing badly, and you see the government has not settled down, because up to now there are some maybe position in government that have not been filled. So I think it is only okay if we start rating them well after maybe 1 year, and then we start saying now we can say the government. But so far so good. I think they are halfway there. They are doing well. If they go on this way, I think it will be okay. And they have said that the cost of electricity is going to go down, fuel and everything. So
Kenyans should look out for that, right?
We should wait.
All right, now that is Kaizer Obed, political scientist, theorist, analyst, or whatever you would want to call Kaizer Obed. Thank you so much for making time for us. We have come to the end of our discussion.